Hey everybody, it's Dr. Dan. So I want to really quickly show you how to look at my feedback. Later on, I'm probably going to have you work on your feedback as maybe a lab, I believe. But just for now, so that when you get your papers, you can study this. You do not have something that looks like this, I know. You just have your stuff. See, this is mine, so it looks different, and I'm never quite exactly sure what your looks like. But you should be able to find on Turnitin something that, says Essay 1 finished, and there should be one of these little similarity things. And so I think you can either click on your name or on that. So I'm going to click on this blue thing. So you want to come up with something that looks like this, okay? And it's not, again, it's probably not going to look exactly like this because this is me, not you. But you should have this menu over here, and then your paper here. And there's three. So one thing I would do is immediately is, if you can, is open this thing here, and you're going to find these. You've got a check mark there. You've got this little square here. I hate that they use icons and not words, but if you put it there, it says that's quick marks, calls that feedback summary, and this is the rubric. So let me talk a little bit about all of these. First, let's look over here. Okay, you've clicked this. We're on feedback summary. We're on this one right here. You will find that I've given you some comments here. And this will say, like, hi, Dr. Dan, and then I'll talk about your paper. But mostly what this is a summary. What you will have here is a summary of what I talk about in the voice comment. I think I try to remember to say, please listen to the voice comment. Okay? So to listen to the voice comment, you go up and click this thing here. Hi, Dr. Dan. That sounds like an interesting meal you had. You sure do use a lot of fragments when you write. Okay, that was pretty lame. But and by the way, there's a 3-minute limit on that. So if I seem to be hurrying up at the last second, it's because I'm trying to get into my limit. So you want to listen. You want to look at this and listen to this and kind of do both of them because they're tied together. Then you can also click the quick marks. You can see, let's see what happens when I click that. Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure if you're going to see this, but what you will want to do is go through your paper, and you're going to see these different things that I've marked here. So let me just do one just to show you what I'm doing. So let's say, oh, whoop, there's no heading. So, well, that's not the one I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this one called MLA, which stands for Modern Language Association, and then a lot of these will have some little explanation. An error in formatting according to Modern Language Association guidelines. See Al Purdue MLA. So here maybe I would add no, you need a heading and double space throughout, okay, or something, So sometimes I write something in like that, sometimes I don't. But you should always, I guess there actually is a way to tell. Now when I finish this, you'll see it has a little like word bubble there. If there's a word bubble there, it means I added some information. So you click it, and it's going to show you the little thing there if there is any information there, and then it will show you what I said. And I just want to show you that you should probably study some of these and get to know them. So for example, let's say I do pronoun agreement here. Then there's an explanation of pronoun agreement, right? So you want to read that. And then I might add a comment there. So that's how that works. For example, down here, it says frag. Well, I put that, and then you might open it up, and it's going to look at this. It has an explanation of fragments, okay? Here, there's just a bubble, and that just means I wrote a comment, but I didn't key it to one of these items here. So if you open that, oh wow, it would be fun to ride in a helicopter, and you can see that let me go back up here. See that this is highlighted, so that tells you that this thing is about what's highlighted. Another thing I can do, let me show you this, is I can cross out a word. It's hard to see that, so one thing you want to do is you want to read your whole paper, okay, and work, so make sure that you find everything that I did. And what you should be doing, and I may require you to do this, is to go through and actually make corrections, maybe pull up your draft on another window, right, and put it next to this so you can go in and play around with your draft and practice revising, actually work on your old draft so that you don't just read what I wrote, you actually try it. Even if I've corrected it for you, you could practice correcting it yourself or revising it yourself, just to go through the motions and to go through the thought process that I went through, so you begin to understand and make progress. It does no good for me to spend a lot of time on your paper writing things, making comments, if you don't process those comments and work with them. If you don't, I've just wasted, like a half an hour. Okay, because that's about what I spend on a paper. It's about a half an hour. But sometimes I might do this, then I can also make so you can see it, and then I might put in a comment there. Fabulous is overused. I don't know. I'm just making that up. Overused. Okay, or something like that. Okay, so that's that, and you want to go through the whole essay looking at that. Now, another thing to look at, if we go back, well, there's this here. This little thing here is a rubric, and I marked this rubric, and you can expand it. There's a little thing up here to expand it, and I do mark this rubric usually, and I'll go through and I'll say, well, on ideas it was about a B, on organization and coherence it was about this level, scale 3, kind of a C-ish thing. Oh, really good support, maybe that's an A. This is very approximate. It's just to give you an idea of your relative strengths and weaknesses, and you want to read through these. And let me point out that I've noticed that I'm going to have to fix some of these. They only give me so much space, and they don't finish all the comments here. But this is based on something. Let me show you what this is based on. This is based on, I'm back here at our page. If you go down here to writing, resources for writing, and if you haven't gone through this, you should go through and open up all of these. I'll probably talk some more about Works Cited. There's a video that you should probably watch. But the thing that's this rubric is this right here, grading rubric for college essays. So you can study that too, and you should. And so this is the same when it comes up, more or less. Actually, this is complete. So you'll notice that the one on here stops before it's done. So it says, may list ideas, arrange them randomly rather than using any logical structure, blah, 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 logic based, or may not, right? But actually it should keep going. May, somewhere in here, may not. Anyway, it doesn't finish. So you want to read these whole things. You might want to pull this up, and I'm just showing where that is in the Writing Resources folder or module, which, again, you should go through and look at everything in it. Easy bib, quoting poetry, punctuating quotations, sample MLA paper, grading rubric, what we just looked at, Al Purdue, and a video on how to do your works cited. Or how to be persistent about doing it. Okay. What else to show you? So look at so you want to look at my, study this stuff here. You want to read my comment and listen to my comment. You want to check the rubric. And now there's some other things you can do that you can do even with your draft. And this is one reason why I have you turn the draft in. There's this stuff down here. So, okay, so notice this says there's no match. In other words, there's nothing in my paper that matches anything else. There is a way, and so that wasn't a very good example. Let me go to this filter here. You can say, what you can do with your draft is you can use this to find out if you need to quote things that you haven't. I mean, yes, it's a way to check for plagiarism, but if you accidentally quoted without putting quotation marks around it, then you can find that and you can fix it. So it's a great way after you've turned into draft and it's processed that you can see, one, how many quotes you have. And I would say that a paper should probably be somewhere between about 10% and 25% quotation, no more, and probably not much, not much less than 10%. So like if I exclude quotes, it's only going to mark things that it's found in other papers that aren't between quotation marks. And that's useful because then you can say, whoops, I needed to put that in quotes, or whoops, I accidentally plagiarized, okay? And then you can fix that. So that's important, okay, to do that. Now, another thing you can do is there's like some grammar checker stuff. I don't think those things work very well, but what did this just do? Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, okay. So I just turned on this grammar checker, and it's showing me things that are supposedly wrong with my paper. You can try it, but I will tell you, I don't think it's very reliable. And it will tell you, it might be useful, but you kind of have to know what you're looking for already in order to make use of it. If you just sort of, use it without thinking, it may or may not help you. But it is there. But I wouldn't rely a whole lot on it. Okay, but it is there. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time, but I want to make sure that you know how to go through and get my feedback, and that you need to spend some time with that, okay, working on your paper after you get it back. Okay, I'll probably have you do something more on that later, but I want to stop now. What happened to the, how do I turn it off?